When I start shooting, all y'all gonna clear out.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we have a very interesting update, something that I was not expecting. That is for Bandai Namco to take action. A couple of times now I mentioned in videos where there was this region of Tekken that was basically being overran by basically people who were cheating in tournaments. They were setting up fake tournaments, having their players compete over and over and over again in those fake tournaments, and then they would crown themselves winner and then win a bunch of points. And they were doing that in an attempt to climb up the regional leaderboards, manipulate the whole entire structure of the TWT, and then get a free pass to the Tekken World Tour finals and compete in the Tekken World Tour regionals. And then hopefully, you know, their hope was to win that and then continue on into the finals. So many different players have been speaking out against it for months, from commentators to content creators to streamers to just random players to pro players. Everyone was very upset with what's happening. Clear as daylight, broad daylight. Tournament organizers and pro players rigging tournaments to cheat, to take opportunities from others. We thought Bandai Namco wouldn't answer, but they've answered. Before we look at their announcement, I wanted to look at the announcement of those who are accused of this. This comes on November the 3rd. Official statement from Hadouken Dojo Gamer. For more than 14 years, our command has been and remains to elevate the competitive standards and create a safe, growth-oriented space for fighting game communities in Bolivia and across the region. In that spirit, we organize to support tournaments under clear rules with transparency and respect, working with local and international players and with partners across the competitive ecosystem. The event recorded 72 registrations with 63 present and eligible to compete. Under the official rules of the Tekken World Tour, the official classification was Dojo 48+. To the best of our knowledge, the organizers never announced a higher category. For example, a 96+. As the rules stipulate, points are determined by the number of eligible participants, not by total registration. We are aware a video circulated online that filmed at the start of the day and does not reflect the event in full. The venue had limited capacity and competitors was run through the scheduled pools. As a result, at certain times the rooms appeared to be less crowded and others it was full. The logistical model does not affect the official player count of the tournament eligibility. We understand some competitors desire higher attendance dojos, especially when qualifications for the Tekken World Tour Finals is at stake. On this occasion, the tournaments concluded with All Saints Day holiday, when many in the community visit their families, which reduced the usual attendance. I won't read all of it, but you can see here with this tweet that they are trying to fight back against the allegations. They were setting up multiple tournaments and they were saying that there was a lot of people there, 60 plus, 80 plus people there. And as you can see with this video here, it's probably like, what is that, like 10 people? This is the video they posted, by the way. And people just were calling them out on this and saying that you guys are ruining what the Tekken is supposed, what the tournaments are supposed to be. These tournaments are supposed to have like 50 plus people, 60 plus people. It's supposed to be like a dojo. And to be setting up this many tournaments and having your players climb through the brackets, it's just not really like good. And I'm happy that Bandai Namco has stepped in to do something about this. You can't allow this kind of behavior to flourish. You can't allow this kind of behavior to thrive, especially when it's so obvious. Now, here's where we get to Bandai Namco's statement. This happened at the same time of the Game Awards, so it flew under a lot of people's radar. I barely caught it as I was scrolling through Twitter. It says, it has come to our attention that certain tournament organizers in the MEA3 region violated the Tekken World Tour 2025 official rules by encouraging collusion behaviors intended to secure a specific player's victory. Documentation supporting these allegations was submitted to the TWT administration. So official real evidence submitted, and Bandai Namco acted on that. As a result, all dojo events operated by these organizers will have their points revoked, and the organizers have been permanently banned from participating in any Bandai Namco esports circuit, including Tekken World Tour and the EMEA Tekken Cup. That is amazing, bro. That is what you want to see. Trying to, and from what I've seen is that these guys have been doing it for a very long time. This is not the first year. They've been doing it for a very long time. So Bandai Namco is finally stepping in and coming down hard on them. It goes on to say that the dojo system is built on the goodwill and trust of the tournament organizers and players around the world. Because it is a trust-based framework, and disciplinary action must be grounded in clear, objective, and credible evidence in order to preserve the integrity and sustainability of the system. That's the thing. A lot of these places don't have like an Evo, a combo breaker. You kind of got to work with what you can get. Bandai Namco is trying to give everyone an opportunity with the regional structure, with the regional format, and that's already in and of itself a kind of like controversial thing. But Bandai Namco is doing it to try to give other players from unknown regions a chance to compete. So you cannot manipulate that. We are aware that concerns about potential misconduct has arisen in multiple regions in the past. However, action can only be taken when such concerns are supported by credible evidence. We kindly ask for your understanding that these principles is essential for maintaining a fair and consistent competitive environment across all regions. You have to submit real evidence. You can't just get a bunch of likes on Twitter and shut someone down. You need real evidence. You don't want one of those situations to happen in tournament, but also on the Tekken World Tour leaderboards. At the same time, we will continue refining our moderation practices and updating regulations where necessary to reduce the likelihood of misconduct and further to improve the competitive environment moving forward. Finally, we ask all players registered in the MEA3 region to review their current placements on the leaderboard at their earliest convenience. When you look at the responses to this tweet, you get kind of mixed reactions. Some people are jumping for joy and celebrating and saying W Bandai Namco, but others are calling for more action to be done. There's another situation that's going on in Guam, and I'll read this tweet here. It says that Uzi Woozy literally enters my tournaments here in New Zealand, and it would have been physically impossible for him to have been in Guam for this event when he's playing online ranked in New Zealand around that time. So you can see here that this guy here, right, Uzi Woozy, was scheduled and registered for this tournament, but then he lost 2-0, and at the same time he was playing ranked in another region. So for a lot of people, this is like obvious, clear signs of manipulation. And a name that I want to point out here as well, look at HBA Alidar. So Kuzi Woozy loses to the guy with the Q name, and then the Q name loses to Alidar. Nick has already posted with great evidence the player Alidar is benefiting from inflated and boosted numbers at his dojo. After looking at each dojo that has awarded Alidar points, I have found that the events often have semi-DQs and a massive amount of full DQs. However, they carefully ensure they never drop below plus 64 and plus 48 events, so Alidar is able to get as many points as possible. These 48-64 man events are very important for Guam, as those numbers are not easily reached in Australia. This tweet goes into a lot more detail. You guys can pause and read it if you want, but you can really just see here how Alidar is participating in a lot of these events. These events have a lot of DQs and semi DQs, and you even have names of players popping up where they're like all the way across the world, or they're in a different region. You can see them online playing ranked, but then they're also like in this tournament getting 2-0. So there's some shady behavior going on here, and the fact that it's all being done to like kind of boost this one guy, this is what Bandai Namco should be targeting. This guy has won a total of 6 tournaments, 470 points, first place all the way through. Currently, he's going to make his way to the regional finals. He's the leader of the Oceania board, and Bandai Namco, they have some time to step in and stop it, but as it seems so far, he's going to carry on. All of these other regions has no chance when you have someone like this who, from what we can tell, is boosting. But like I said before, and I'll say it again, Bandai Namco needs the evidence. We got to give them the evidence. We can't just make videos. We can't just make tweets. We need to provide the necessary evidence so you can get rid of them 100%. We see that they will do it, right? They got rid of the other guys we just talked about, but if you want them to take action against these guys, we need 100% evidence.